What I'm going to show today is how to set up a traditional tripod. Traditional tripods will provide a bit more accuracy as far as an ability to reoccupy sites, with the same positioning. They are heavier, so they're better in windy conditions, but they're also a little bit harder. It takes a little more technique to set up than the quick tripods we also offer. So there's two main components to how you level and center over a benchmark the tripod. So there's the legs. You want to start out by getting the legs basically positioned correctly. And then you have your tri-brac where you do the fine tuning of the leveling and the centering. So start with undoing your buckles here and undoing the latches. So this will allow the legs to move freely. You pull the legs up to something like chest height, whatever your chest might be, and then you lock the legs back down. Sort of set it over where your center point is and spread the legs out. Whoops. That one didn't come down. There we go. And you unscrew this to get the cap off. This cap protects the surface. You want the surface to stay nice and flat and not get scratched or anything like that. So I'm gonna let that down a little more. And you want to do like a rough estimate. Try to get it pretty much centered under the middle. So this we're using as a benchmark, just the center of this borehole well. But you can use something you put in yourself. You can use a government monument or something like this in the built infrastructure. When you put on the tri-brac, there's 3 corners here, and these will move a fine tune up and down. You want to make sure that they're each set at the midpoint. There's a line that shows the midpoint. And then this is called the optical plummet. It allows you to look straight down. So you put the tri-brac on so that the corners line up with the corners of the tripod. And then you screw this back into the hole on the bottom of the tri-brac. And then you look through the plummet, which helps you look straight down, and you double check, you use the focus. There's the outer focus, which is for rough focusing, and then the inner focus does the fine tuning. So, and you also can see a small target in the center to help you line up with the middle of your benchmark. So right now I'm actually very, very close to the center of our benchmark, so that's good. Make sure this is tight. But now I have a level bubble right here, and I want to do the initial alignment with the legs and just save the fine tuning for the top there. It's ideal if you can do the fine tuning with 2 of the legs. And I can see I have my level bubble here, and that this leg is a little bit high. And so I'm just going to lower this down until the bubble moves around to be in a line with this second leg here. And in this case, this leg needs to go a little bit higher. So now I have my level bubble generally in the middle of the circle. I'm going to check and make sure I'm still seeing pretty close to straight down to the benchmark. I am, so that's great. Now I can do the final tuning of the level bubble using these corners here. And it's good if you can turn sort of 2 of them at a time as I'm getting the level bubble more completely into the middle. This actually was faster than sometimes, so if you have to fuss with it more, don't be surprised. That definitely happens too. So now I'm gonna do my final check, and I'm not quite centered. So I'm loosening this just so that I can slide the tri-brac over a little bit, and now my little circle optical target is right over the middle of my benchmark. And it's good. One technique, if you're having trouble just even finding your benchmark, is to put your foot in to the center so that you can have a bigger object to look for. But that didn't turn out to be necessary today because I found it pretty quickly. So the last thing you need to do before you can put the receiver on and start surveying is to consider what the height is going to be to the base of the receiver. So if you're using an M-lid, you'll have this M-lid extender on it as well, like this. So you need to know what the height of your tripod is up to here. So this M-lid extender is 0.15 meters. This American made tri-brac is generally about 3 inches. So, but if you have adjusted the corners, you might need to play with that a little, which is 0.076 inches. And then you need to measure to the flat part of here. So going from the benchmark to here looks like 1.2 meters, 1.23. And then I would add those heights together, and that's what I would enter in as my tripod height. And the additional distance up to where the receiver antenna center is added by the M-lid or whatever receiver processing you're using. Now we're ready to roll on our surveying.